and welcome to another episode of the Elbows Down MotoGP podcast. My name's Alex Higginson, and I'm joined by Jimmy Harrison. As always, we're coming to you from the city of Brno, and we've had a cracking weekend, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. It's that sort of beer and knowing that you're going to the last dinner feeling now, isn't it? We have to be fair, but yeah, it's been a cracking weekend. Bit of mixed weather going on for one day on the Friday, but yeah, it's been baking ever since. But what a city this is! Absolutely amazing city. I saw more of Prague than last time as well. Both stunning cities. But Brno is a bit of a hidden gem, I think.
Yeah, it's my first time in Brno, and did a bit of research before I go anywhere, and so had a look around. Had a bit of a look around last night. We haven't really had much time to explore Brno anywhere near as much as I wanted to, because obviously you wake up dead early, go to the track. Spend all day at the track and get back, and all you want to do all you want to do is sit outside with a pint of a half litre of ice cold beer and have some food and go to bed, because all this heat. I mean, today was definitely the hottest day so far. I think we're in the low 30s around midday. You can probably tell I've really caught the sun. I don't think I've stopped sweating. But that's what happens when you carry a bit of extra weight, and so yeah, it's been incredible. Yesterday was really good, slightly cooler, but still really hot. And obviously Friday we got the biblical downpour shortly after the Moto3 practice session, which then obviously ran into the Moto2 session as well, which sort of made it a bit wet, and then it got really wet towards the end of the Moto2 session. Yeah, the heavens really opened then, and that was great. We've waffled on about that enough. What we want to do is talk not so much about the action that you've all seen over the weekend. Everyone knows the results. We will talk about the results, obviously. We're going to talk about who impressed us and all that sort of stuff, but we're also going to mainly do one of the main reasons why we set up this podcast in 2022 at Silverstone was to give you a punter's perspective of what going to the track is like. Everyone can watch it on TV. It's a bit like, my dad says, I'll never really go to Glastonbury because I can just watch it from my armchair. It's like, Dad, Glastonbury is completely different to what you see on the BBC, for God's sake. So we'll give you a little bit of that insight.
Yeah.
Not about Glastonbury, but about Brno.
No. Yeah. The track organisation, I think we said all about this in the recording we did on Friday night that never came to fruition because of technical difficulties. Sounds like an excuse, but it is actually the truth. But effectively, Brno had a new policy involved. I don't know if it was anything to do with new owners, and they just obviously spent, I would say, several million on resurfacing it. It's a 3-mile circuit, more or less. And yeah, you couldn't bring in your own food. You couldn't bring in your own drink. And I think even water wasn't allowed on the first day. A few people got through and got away with bits if they were well hidden underneath the bag, things like that. And then, insult to injury, some areas where they were just chucking your stuff on the floor next to the gate. Yeah, which is a mess.
We went through, and on the first day I didn't have a rucksack with me at all, and Pete, Jimmy's uncle, and I were straight through the gate, scanned our tickets, off we went. And then I turned around waiting for Gaz and Stu, who's Jimmy's dad, and waiting for them because they both had rucksacks on with water, lunch. We made sandwiches and a few other bits and bobs. We didn't bring any booze with us. Just because we just thought, we don't want to spend the entire day going to the loo every 15 minutes, so we just thought maybe we'll buy a couple of beers later on. And the only thing that got confiscated was a can of Mountain Dew that was in Gaz's bag. And it was like, that's a really random thing to take away from someone. I saw the security lady hold up the bag that had a couple of sandwiches in it. And she was like, food? She was like, yeah, okay. And it wasn't a big issue. It wasn't, but then and something that we'll get onto in a moment is the layout for spectators, how you get to and from zones A to B and C and all that sort of stuff. But basically parts of it you have to leave the circuit enclosure itself. So imagine, for those of you who've been to Silverstone, it's a bit like leaving the bag search area to then go and have to do a big loop around the outside of the circuit.
I don't know if I'll try, guys. You can laugh at me.
So anyway,
like a weatherman.
As we were leaving from, this is great. So as you're leaving,
what Alex is basically telling you there is that this is the start and finish here, obviously. Okay. Now, to get to what they call Horsepower Hill, which is here, you think you can walk around there within the circuit site, shall we say? No. You've got to scan your ticket out, leave the venue, and follow a path around there and go back in. And go back to another entrance and scan your ticket again. Now, on the Friday, we wanted to do a bit of recce of it.
Yeah.
I just bought a Fanta at the start and finish straight, brought it back in, and they were like, no. It's like, I've just bought that over there. So, and thankfully it sounds like we're grassing people in here. We're grassing the circuit in, but honestly, I just thought we'd try our luck. Yeah. Put the message to Brno Circuit, who actually follows on Instagram. They replied straight away that we know about this. We're looking into it. I also mentioned Simon Patterson, who we all know of, the race MotoGP podcaster and journalist, and he said, "Oh, great. We've told him what's gone on. People are having to dump their food and drink, and he's seen the picture I'd sent of all the rubbish next to the gates because of this." He said, "Leave it with me." Now, thank you to Simon if you did something for that. If the track was sorting it anyway, well, fair play, it worked. And the rest of the weekend, in terms of what you could bring, was massively relaxed.
Yeah, so going back to what we were just saying about when we left the track, so we got let in with a few bits of food, like a sandwich each sort of thing. But as we were leaving to try and get to Horsepower Hill, so we had to leave, scan our ticket out, leave the compound itself, and there were all these people desperately eating all their food and necking cans of beer and all that sort of stuff. So the rules were quite lax when it came to food, but people who brought a lot of food with them thought, "Oh, let's try and fill up now because they might confiscate our food. They might, or they might not." They definitely confiscate our alcohol and our soft drinks, even though there was nothing on the gates at all that said, you can't bring your own food, you can't bring your own soft drinks, you can only bring 2 half-litre bottles of water in with you, and that's the maximum. And the thing that really, really, really got to me, for someone that goes to festivals a lot, and also to other Grands Prix and to other stuff like British hill climbing, whatever, there is always fresh, free, potable water on site for you to fill up your water bottle from. So even if you're not allowed to bring a big bulky bottle in with you and all that sort of stuff, you can at least bring a couple of small bottles of water and just go and refill them every now and again. But that wasn't the case here. The only water refill point that we could find was on Horsepower Hill, where you've got the portaloos and that sort of thing, and where you wash your hands. And people are filling up their water bottles there, but it's got pretty flimsy little sign on there that says "not drinking water." Oh, fucking hell. Anyway, so that really got on my nerves. And when we messaged the circuits about it and said, "Look, you either do one thing or another. You either allow people to bring in as much water as they want, or you provide free potable water to everyone. You either do one or the other, or both, but not neither."
This is water.
It's water. It's literally.
It's the middle of the summer.
The issue is that you go to places like, say, Ibiza and Magaluf and that sort of thing, and they'll sell you a bottle of water for like €10 or something, and you could be in the middle of a dance floor, sweating your ass off and having a really horrible time, getting more and more dehydrated. You can't drink the water on the island, so you have to buy a bottle of water for €10. It's like, come on, don't be like that. Don't be like, that's scummy. But they're not scumming at all. They did a really good job of alleviating it. It must have just been a massive daft oversight, because we messaged them about it, and I sent them a really polite message saying, "Look, please just give us one or the other, potable water or relax the water rules and bring it in." And they were like, "Yeah, we're sorting that from tomorrow." And this is at about 5 o'clock.
Because I think when I messaged, it was probably a little more raw And then we we sort of calmed down a bit.
Well, you were kicking off because we were stuck in this queue for ages trying to get.
Sorry, that was the PDQ reader.
So we were trying to buy beer and water. We were trying to buy bottles of water, but the
cash only thing. Sorry, I'll start again. No cash was allowed, so it's card only. But they were using apps, not PDQ readers, and it just made the queues massive for food and drink, and it was getting on our nerves a bit. After I said, by the way, it's not the track. We love the track. It's just all this. And they went, oh, thank you for the nice ending, but we'll look into it. And then Alex said his message about the water and that. So Brno was straight onto it. Is the point we're making. Brno did rectify this for the last 2 days, which everyone's probably thinking, well, yeah, so they should. But some tracks will say, nope, that's the policy. I know Portimao have lost fans over the years because they stick to their, I'm almost certain they stick to their no food, you can't bring your own food policy. But it's just going to piss people off. And fans always think, I'll go to Saxonring now. I'll go somewhere else where I can do it. I've spent enough
on to the fun rounds like Aston.
I paid this money for a ticket. Let me bring my own food and drink.
Yeah.
The card thing was an internet issue, but they're starting to bring more heavy duty, like proper PDQ readers for cards.
So
all of this sort of thing is stuff that can be improved for next year and beyond. The layout of the track, I think we can all agree, and I think a lot of riders have made comparisons with Mugello, is perfect. No one's late in the track. I mean, I've been here before in 2014. I only really went to the sort of infill, the gold and the paddock. I saw a lot more of the outside of the track this time. So it's beautiful, very undulating. Again, similar to Mugello with these fast S's. It's a tremendous. You can tell why it's been on the calendar forever. Until obviously it needed resurfacing and they couldn't afford to host MotoGP.
So we were at Horsepower Hill today. So there, yes, I know where Horsepower Hill is. Thank you. Because you can tell we've been together all week and we're starting to get irritable with each other.
We got there.
Trainer. So we're at Horsepower Hill today, which is absolutely stunning. You look towards this end of the track from the hill, and as you're looking down, you can see all the mountains, all the Moravian mountains. It's an amazing region. They're really, really beautiful. And also the walk to it was really nice. I mean, albeit not on the circuit itself.
It's like a bridle path.
Yeah. It's like you just on this random footpath going to another place. And you do then get bag searched again when you get to the gate there, which is fine. But I only found, while we were there, 2 places where you get bag searched. And it's on what those of us from York or any race town, horse racing town, would call the cheap side. And the cheap side being where you've not paid for anything, general admission sort of stuff. So here and here, here and here, you get bag searched. And you get bag searched because they assume that us scum are all bringing horrible, nasty knives and daggers and stuff in, when all we really want to do is bring a few tinnies and some sandwiches in. But when you get over, so you go through the tunnel, which is here. It's so difficult doing this, isn't it? Pointing to stuff when everything's back to front. You go through the tunnel, which goes underneath the main grandstands, and up to where the pit lane access is. And then you're sort of around this area here, you think.
You're right, but that goes past
around
the
that area.
And into
but then you go out to the road that leads in to the paddock area. No back searches whatsoever. So if you've paid enough money and you're parking around here somewhere, good for you. You can bring in whatever you want because you won't get your bag searched. But if you're scum and you're over here,
scum class,
and you're scum class and you parked around here, everything gets searched. So that was one thing that I observed. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I did see people walking into the gold place, which is C, which is here, Gold Hill, which is where we watched all the Saturday action. People walking in there with full-on cool boxes and stuff. I just thought these guys haven't been, fair play to them, good on them, get your booze in, great. But if we brought a cool box in, no.
Thing on the side is something you'd have been okay with. Yeah. Today I was walking through the gate because we'd actually paid for gold, which is in the centre, which is obviously the main stadium section where the sprint podium was. We paid for that, but we decided to do a different section for Sunday because we preferred it, I think, slightly. And when I went through the gate, I had one of these right at the bottom of the bag. I thought, for the MotoGP race, I want a beer. So I had it planted right at the bottom of the bag. Just as he's about to wrap this up, he sees the bear and he goes, Toto. I went, Toto? Let me go anyway. So, yeah. Excuse the Czech speaking.
Maybe he mistook it for a little white dog and then thought, oh no, that's not a little white dog. It's fine, it's just a can of beer.
But let me have it anyway. But yeah, so we've complained enough about that, but they've rectified it quickly. I did write a note here, Alex. This is obviously slightly different from a spectator's perspective. Realistically, do you think there's anything that needs updating on the track? Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So pit lane, obviously, eventually 1 point, but that's not going to affect fans, really.
I think when we're talking about punters stuff, punters perspective, right? So, how many people were there this weekend? 200 and something thousand?
225.
225. So, anyway, so there was 95,000 on race day, 81,000 on Saturday, 42,000 on Friday, which was more than Silverstone race day. 2,000 more. There are two tunnels on here. There are two tunnels. One goes from T5 here, which is the main gate for general admission, and as I said earlier on, goes underneath the track and spits you out in this sort of area where the paddock is and where VIP zones are and everything. But it's also where some of the best viewing points are, which is Zone C, which is Gold Hill. And then you've got F as well over there. Then there is another tunnel, the Schwanz tunnel, which is between F and G on the map, which is just about there. So there are two tunnels, but these tunnels are, I want to say they're about 20 feet wide.
Yeah.
And you've got, let's say, 30,000 fans, 40,000 fans.
All trying to leave.
All trying to leave on Saturday, going from Zone C back to the general admission gate, and they're all trying to get in there, and you
Just
get
like
to the bottom.
sardines.
And we were like sardines. It was red hot, and when I say red hot, I mean I would love to have checked the temperature in that tunnel when we finally got into it. You go down these stairs to go underneath the. It was like something out of an apocalypse. It was horrific, and this was Saturday afternoon, when we all decided to leave. So packed in, like shoulder to shoulder like that. You know, everyone's in a good mood. Everyone's having a laugh. But you know, kids are screaming. It's pretty horrendous. There was a guy next to us playing music on like a little speaker and that sort of thing. That was quite funny. But we were in there for a good 15, 20 minutes, shuffling along, just like if something goes wrong in here. You know, someone has a heart attack.
This is the thing.
If someone
you need a footbridge
overheats,
as well,
like you're screwed.
really.
So if you get it, yeah, exactly what you're about to say. Get a footbridge as well. Alleviate some traffic. Create a one-way system, because you've also got the people that want to go the opposite way, but they can't go the opposite way because they've got 20 feet of people moving towards them in a solid wall. So a footbridge somewhere as well as the tunnel, because it was genuinely horrific. And the Schwanz tunnel we never actually used.
No, we never went that far in the end, we? No.
But I can imagine it's the similar sort of structure. Basically, one of my main things about Brno is that it feels like they just need to spend a few more million. I know that sounds, just like,
yeah, no.
Just spend a few more million on sorting out some crowd control problems, because at the end of the day, it's the perfect circuit. It's really well managed. It's really the racing's brilliant. The commentary, the circuit commentary is brilliant. Even though it is 50% Czech, 45% German, and 5% English, it doesn't matter, because what they're on about is.
And for goodness' sake, you shouldn't care.
You don't care about what language they speak. You don't care.
You're not in your own country anyway.
It's exactly, and we love that sort of thing. We loved it in Mugello. Where you had. Sorry, I can't remember his name.
The late great circuit commentator
from Mugello,
Oozing enthusiasm, which is what they did today.
Fantastical, bad guys.
Yeah, brilliant. And it was the same today. It was. Tell you what, they didn't do in 20. I don't think there was any English in Mugello.
No, there wasn't. And
so
fine, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we don't care. But at least this Grand Prix, you've got Czech, you've got a bit of German, and you've got English.
That was really good, wasn't it? Yeah, you did. They put all three in there. Is what I was trying to say. Yeah. So because I would say I don't know the exact figures, but I reckon that you're looking at about 40% Czech, 40% German, and then 20% of everyone else from, people travel. I saw a couple of Australian flags, so I saw people from all over Europe. But I reckon it's sort of 40-40 when it comes to Germans and Czechs that attend the Grand Prix of the Czech Republic.
There's a lot of Germans around us that have got quite good fun. One in particular, but we won't talk about that.
we had a right laugh. He taught us lots and lots of naughty German things.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Anyway, we covered everything about that. I mean, a new pit building in time, guys. Probably because, again, from a fan perspective, this is a general podcast as well, but from a managerial and sporting perspective, you need more pit boxes there.
Yeah. Definitely,
because we all know, enthusiasts know, you've got the mini pit lane that is heavy duty big mark tents for the lower end of the grid for Moto2, Moto3. This was like 2 pit lanes in the paddock. There is 4 pit garages for Moto2, Moto3 left. After MotoGP, every single rider gets a pit box in MotoGP. The rest we counted 4 garages for Moto2, Moto3.
I think it was Nicky Io's squads.
Dynavolt Intact got one.
Dynavolt Intact got one, and Mark VDS.
That was your lot, more or less.
That was it.
Yeah.
So the Moto2 and the Moto3
even the Aspar boys
Nicky
didn't have one. Unless the Aspar Moto3.
No, Aspar didn't, because remember we walked past.
Unless that was the Moto2, unless they were both in there. But yeah, the point is that is the pit building from 1987. It needs, this will be a 20-30 million thing, but it needs knocking down and extending. The only thing is that pitch straight isn't long at all, so you need to knock down the control tower and probably start it earlier towards the last corner.
I think they've probably got all this planned. To be fair, I mean, it was pretty rudimentary. We got all the hospitality areas and garages for Moto2 and Moto3. It was great.
Paddock does not need touching. The paddock behind,
the paddock's really spacious, but. Just use a bit more of it for the important bits. What was the one thing I want to say? Oh, by the way, I wanted to say that on the Saturday, getting in was a hellish experience, but it was made a lot better than it would. It was handled a lot better than I think it would have been handled if a circuit Brno's size and capacity for parking wise was in the UK. They managed to close off. Half close off a motorway, just so that we could park. Because basically, it rained so much on Friday that the ground was so waterlogged that we couldn't park anywhere near the track because it's just a load of fields and saturated ground and vehicles that weigh over a ton. Doesn't mix very well. So works really, really well. There were frequent shuttle buses getting to and from the circuit from the motorway where we were told to park. That worked really well. It was a very arduous task getting to the circuit. We were cramped inside a bus and all sorts, but it worked. And we got there in the end, and it was all good. So that was actually,
It was quite, as my uncle Pete said, he was driving, he said it's quite a novel way of doing it. But it's very effective. If you imagine how many cars, guys, imagine having one lane and a car's parked next to each other in one lane, like that through the road. It went on and on and on forever. It was another way. I can't imagine that happening in the UK in Toaster for Silverstone. Just no chance. Not a chance, but it worked. It worked. We were a bit annoyed at the time. We missed all of Moto3 practice in the morning. And I think we missed
FP2,
FP2,
and we missed we missed a little bit of Moto2 FP2,
and this was all because of parking issues. But
it was all because of parking issues. But it's one of those things that if I was organising the circuit, I'd go, shit, we've learned a lesson. Right, next year we need to buy more lots, or we need to do whatever. I don't know what it is that you do when you run a circuit, but
Well, that's the thing.
that's the
Looking
sort
at
of
that,
thing. They've definitely used. I guess you can kind of use this year. The place hasn't been used for 5 years. You can use this year as kind of like a soft opening. Like a soft opening where where you invite all your friends and family to come to your new restaurant, and you say, right, come to my new restaurant, and don't just go, everything's lovely. Tell me what's wrong with it, and then I'll improve it for when we actually open, which is next year. So, but genuinely, Punters perspective-wise, Brno circuit is fantastic. It really, really is great. It's got great viewing spaces for general admission. It's got, everything's in walking distance. Facilities are all over the place. That's great.
Yeah, there's no shortage of facilities, folks.
Toilets are clean. The toilets are really clean. Apart from the one that you went into, which was a Portaloo. But
they're old school.
Portaloos are always horrible.
It is what it is.
But the toilet buildings themselves, brilliant. They even erected a shower near the Portaloos with cold water coming out of it, and people were just standing underneath it today, like, ah. It was so good.
Yeah.
Just like an outside
That's
shower.
how hot it was.
Like you see it at the beach. Like a beach shower. Just like, it was so hot today. And then, so Punters perspective-wise, awesome. Had an amazing weekend. The only thing that you can't help that made it really difficult was the heat. It was so hot.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything more about that apart from make sure that...
Be prepared.
Apart from make sure that everyone that is in your circuit, everyone that is under your duty of care, has access to water.
By the way, folks, if you haven't got a grandstand seat with Brno, I would, and you're flying to Brno, I would make sure you buy a chair if you get tired fast.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit down on uneven ground and lose blood circulation in your arse cheeks.
Yeah.
We tried looking for some chairs in Tesco. There's a fantastic Tesco here, by the way, in Brno, which is another conversation. But
4 aisles of beer.
Yeah. Just made our Tesco look embarrassing for fresh bread, beer, you name it. But we couldn't find any chairs. But I would recommend taking some chairs. The general admission in Brno is up there with Mugello. If not in place, it's better for viewing. But if you have a chair, you'll have a better time. I think you'll just be more chill. So highly recommend doing that, or just. We didn't even bring a mat, did we? But you crack on, race goers crack on. But if you really want to be more comfortable, don't forget stuff like that.
Yeah. Right then, what do we want to talk about?
A little bit of racing, I think.
A little bit of racing. Yeah. There was something that we were just about to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Oh no, I don't know what I want to talk about. I know what I want to talk about was Thursday. Right,
so we paid for the MotoGP Experience Day, which pretty much happens in most Grand Prix now. You can find that, or if you go 2 Wheels for Life MotoGP Experience, you can pick your Grand Prix and you go on the Thursday. We paid about €100 for this.
We'll put a link to 2 Wheels for Life in our bios.
Yeah.
In our bio, what do you call it?
In the description. I'll put the link.
Yeah, we'll put the link in. They're a fantastic charity that help people in impoverished circumstances getting food and water to them, but via motorbikes. Brilliant. So fantastic. So it's a really good cause, and so all the proceeds for getting yourself into a paddock will go obviously to getting you into a paddock, and then everything will go to charity as well. So it's fantastic. So that's what we did.
So we did very well by them. I think about €100. Obviously, that's the donation too, and. Yeah, obviously I used to do a blog, and I used to be in the paddock now and again with a pass, so I met some people, and Pole Position Travel, and a gentleman called Gordon, who was on the podcast last week, bumped into him in the paddock, I messaged him, and he was kind enough to invite us into the LCR Honda hospitality unit, which was a massive treat. Well, obviously we had access to the paddock for the day because we paid for that, but not a hospitality unit. You can't really just scroll into,
and also the MLAV Moto3 team as well is really, really well. Yep. So we met him there, Gordon Howell, who we'd spent a bit of time with in Prague the day before. We met up for a few pints. We went and met a couple of his lovely clients. It was really nice to meet them, and went for a meal. And then Thursday came along. He said, if you get a chance, come and meet me at MLAV. And it took, how long did it take us to find MLAV? Because
there was no logos.
There were no logos or anything. It was just, when he eventually told us where it was, I was like, I think he must have realised that, I didn't have any logos on it. Anyway, so we went in, and it was like, do you guys want any water or anything, or a drink or anything? And I was like, I can see beer in that fridge. And then someone went, and there was an Australian guy, I can't remember his name, and he was like,
I can't either.
Do you just want a beer, mate? And I was like, I'd love a beer, thank you very much. He was like, 5 beers?
Actually, before you got to say that, let's be honest, he looked at us like, they're from England, they want a beer. He's not South African, sorry, I won't do that accent again, it's been a long day. But yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, so, had a really nice time.
So we had a beer in there, and 2 in LCR Honda, fantastic, and that was a treat. They were so nice in there. Also had an espresso in there, which was one of the best espressos I've ever had. But yeah, that was a treat. And then we also had another treat, didn't we, Alex?
Yes. So Gordon said to us, right, I've got to go off and do some stuff, but meet me back here at whatever time it was, and I might be able to sneak you into the LCR Honda garage. All right, yeah, cool. I was like, this is getting a bit much now. Surely not. Anyway, so we went back, and it was like, no, it's delayed. The bikes aren't quite built yet. Obviously, you can't go into a pit garage when the bikes are naked, because,
the prototypes.
And so eventually it came around, and we met Becca from LCR Honda. She's part of the team there, and Gordon left us in her hands, and she said, right, come back in 15 minutes time. Everything should be ready to go.
Yeah.
And we got back there 15 minutes time, and she walked out and was just like, we're ready for you. Perfect timing. And she said, come in. So we went, into the back of the pit garage,
which was already me and Alex going.
We were just like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Then you get the smell of oil.
Yeah.
And you get the smell of fuel. And you get the smell of rubber. Yeah. And you just think, you go in there and it smells like a really, really nice quick fit.
You can smell polish as well in there, which is obviously the fairings.
And anyway, so we're in there, and obviously to our right we had Takaki Nakagami's team, and we had on the left we had John Zarco's team, and then we were just in the middle of both of them, sort of like this barrier, but we were in the box, and they had all 4 bikes up on the rampy things. They're still fettling with stuff. They fitted all the fairings on all of them. There was, and then they were like, right, they started wheeling. They wheeled Taka's number 1 bike off the ramp, and I thought, oh my god, they're going to fire this one up.
And then Becca said, no, they're firing all 4 up.
So pulled one off the ramp, and we thought that was it. No, all 4 of them came off. All 4 of them got fired up, and all 4 of them were,
you had to be there, really. The sound it just rumbles the earth. I love seeing a MotoGP at full chat, but that sound was, I mean, Alex always takes the piss, doesn't he? He says, well, you are a crier. But I was on the verge at one point. I thought, we were best mates, and with my dad, and my uncle, and I was like, shit, we have timed this perfectly. Well, they timed it perfectly for us. And it was just so special. And at the moment you're thinking, take all this in, because this is going to be 10 minutes, probably tops, and it was.
Because obviously you're not taking actual photos.
Dad tried that. My dad tried it with his camera. And
no, he just had his camera around his neck.
Oh, that was it, and it was
And one of Taka's mechanics, after they'd stopped the bike, put it back up on the ramp thing.
Yeah.
He was about to take the fairing off, and he just pointed at his camera and said, it was like, oh yeah, no, I wouldn't, don't worry. And he took it off, and we actually saw inside. He was so bike. Yeah. I was just like looking at it, like, I've got no idea where I'd start. If someone said to me, right, build a MotoGP bike from looking at that, I'm just, where's the Play-Doh?
And you can look at these guys as well, these engineers working on these bikes, and they're extremely high-end professionals as well, aren't they? They're at the top of their game, each one. You've got HRC pit staff walking around. You've got LCR regular mechanics walking around.
You've got Randy Mamolo walking around.
Yeah, Randy Mamolo's walking around taking pictures, minding his own business. But there's very, very serious faces on every single one of them. It's a very serious working environment. I just thought, this is so real.
But they were so friendly. They were so friendly.
Yeah.
And Becca was amazing with us. You know, she was telling us this and that. And then obviously it was so loud that we couldn't do any talking. And she said, help yourself to headphones if you want to put some ear protection on.
I'm like, no.
I'm going to be stupid and regret it tomorrow. And then they turned all the bikes off, and then Becca said to us, right, we should go now because this isn't a good sign. Well, what do you mean this isn't a good sign?
Yeah, she did.
It was
because they were talking.
Because they're doing too much talking, which means something's wrong. So we need to go now. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, it was so amazing.
Yeah. And it just, stuff like that, I know you've been asked to leave, it just made it feel more real when stuff like that is said. And then we walked out, I remember walking out, I thought, just keep looking around the corner, and there's the bits behind the scenes you're not supposed to see.
Yeah.
And then we looked to the left and saw some tyres as well, with like laptops and that. And I thought, Jesus, this is as real as it gets.
It was perfect.
So if you ever can, if you get invited, do it, obviously. Who wouldn't if you're already in the paddock the day? If you can blag your way or something like that, be polite to people, do it, because it is a one hell of an experience. Even if not, I mean, we were unfortunate enough this year, we couldn't do the pit lane walk because Brno was, well, they told us that the reason that it wasn't available is because it's too close to the previous race. The bikes aren't built, so by the time they were built, it'd be too late to have a pit walk, which I don't really get because a pit walk is away from the garage anyway. But maybe it's because they don't want you looking at the bikes exposed, but then you just close the garage doors. So, but the point I'm making is, if you can't get into the garage, do a pit walk. Some tracks will charge. Jerez, I know, was free with the ticket. And then around 5 o'clock when they host it, all the bikes come out, motorbikes, and get fired up and revved. And it is just one of the most simple things, I know, but it is so satisfying. And yeah, if you can get into a box, even better. But that was our Thursday. And that was our experience. In terms of racing, we pretty much have to wrap it up. It's been a bit of a different pod, but Mark, I think I had this under control all weekend. It's just that this tire pressure thing, which we don't want to talk about too much longer, is getting stupidly. It's a farce. It is. I mean, some people say, well, at least we had a more entertaining sprint day. But yeah, only because of that reason. Otherwise, Mark would have easily controlled that as well.
Yeah, well, he did control it. He got the notification that he was under the limit, under the roof, as he said.
Yeah.
And then he thought, right, well, I don't think I am, but I'm going to anyway. Pull behind whoever's behind me, and he really did punch in behind Pedro.
God, he was so close.
Yeah, he was so close. It happened right in front of us. So we were on Gold Hill, and he, I was watching someone else, because the thing is, when you're at the track, you're not necessarily watching one rider, you're watching a group of riders, or someone catches your eye, you go, oh, hello, and then you for a split second something happens, and Jimmy's going, oh, look, Marquez is backing off, and I was like, oh God, what's going on? And you could see that he was, and then he really punched in behind Pedro, and got the tyre pressure back to where he wanted it, and pulled ahead and cracked on and won the sprint. But the same story can't be said for Pecco Bagnaia. Now, I don't know if it was both of them or if it was just one of them, but apparently the tyre pressure infringement, the tyre pressure management system was, I don't know if it was faulty or if they were given the wrong information, but apparently Pecco's tyre was fine, but for some reason he was given the notification that he was under the limit, so he had to wave off, drop back, from which he never recovered during the sprint.
It's just it's annoying. I mean, then again, we know he could have got beaten anyway, and today he did.
And today he really did. Today, led for a very, very, very small amount of time. And then
Mark again, turn 3.
Mark again, turn 3. Yeah, perfect. But Bez leading for a couple of laps as well. That was fantastic to see Bez leading for a couple of laps. Really, really enjoyed that. But then the race got a bit processional, got a bit boring when Enea Bastianini crashed out in front of when him and Pecco were about to sort of start battling properly. I thought, this is it. Pecco can start battling back on Enea, and then Enea crashed, and I was like, oh, never mind then. And then it was sort of, Mark to Bez was like 4 seconds, and then the next gap was 2, the next gap was 3 seconds. I was like,
it was spaced out. I think Bez was brought it back, but that was only because Mark backed off in the last couple of laps. But again, just controlling the gap perfectly, knowing that he had to stay behind Bez for a while to just balance these stupid tire pressures, and then he knew he just needed to find the right moment. Although it wasn't the cleanest move, but I think that's because Bez didn't know he was going for the move into turn 3.
He sat up a little bit. He had to sit up a little bit, only a little bit, and then saw our notes on it were off. Disastrous weekend for Alex Marquez. This is the first weekend of the season where he's not scored a single point.
Nice.
And it also obviously brings his point scoring streak to a close. So he's finished in terms of the championship, according to him. That's what he said in the presser afterwards. Is that he's basically he's not in the championship running anymore, which is you'd think is ridiculous because of the amount of P2s, obviously the win at Jerez. And you'd think that it would be clear cut that he is the most consistent rider. But then when you throw away an entire weekend, and then you end up 120 points behind the title contender, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
How on earth do you call that back?
No, you don't. And Mark's 120 points in the lead now. I think I overheard the circuit commentators say.
Just double checking now.
Yeah. I think
exactly 120.
Mark would have to break both legs, and I think he'd still win the championship probably.
Yeah.
And it's. I mean, we say processional. It's because it is. But at the same time, it's still great to be there. But also, Mark's been through a lot, and when you put the best rider on the best bike, it's going to happen, and he deserves this.
He does.
He's easily the best rider in the world right now. We did, by the way, folks. Forget Mark being booed in Italy. Of course, that's going to happen. We've known in Brno.
In Brno, yeah.
End of the sprint race.
End of the sprint, I had some Germans next to me who were booing him.
Yeah.
And then today, when we were leaving, and we could see the podium celebrations on TV, but we were leaving. Some people that were in that crowd were booing when it was only a couple of people here and there. But if we heard it for both races, then it must be happening, all over. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, some people like it and think it's funny. Some people think it's unsporting.
Some people think it is good sport, because it's a bit of banter and that. But also, I think it's bitterness more than anything. Get used to it, folks. Unless someone soon can click with a bike, which I'm not saying it won't. Mark will have challenges, but this could go on for a while. But we'll still love the sport anyway.
Hey, Jorge Martin P7 in the race today.
Fantastic.
Yeah, nice.
Absolutely outstanding. Also, before we just wrap up, that's a great comeback, and I didn't expect it. P11
in the sprint yesterday, P7 in the race today, so he scored 9 points today. Brilliant.
I didn't think he'd do that well. No, that sounds like a lot bad. But not been on a Grand Prix bike for that long. He had his little test, I know, which obviously helped. So I guess that will have helped, but I still don't think P7. Yeah.
Sprint yesterday. Here's a weird talking point. Obviously, it's been a very KTM weekend. We've heard news, rumours and stuff that Bajaj are going to honour their racing team and keep the racing side of everything and all that. Brilliant. But what happens when the test rider who is riding for the satellite team this weekend as a replacement rider outperforms the factory, big boy, Brad Binder got beaten by Paul Espargaro yesterday. I mean, that was a little bit embarrassing for Brad Binder.
Yeah, I don't. There's no other way you can say it.
It's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
And considering Brad won here in 2020.
Yeah.
And Brad's won before a few times the sprints.
So positives
It's not
and
good enough.
negatives for KTM this weekend. But I think, to be honest, if I was KTM, I'd be coming away from this weekend extremely happy with what's gone on, and also extremely happy that they've signed a decent test rider as well, because Paul Espargaro had a really good weekend.
Yeah. Very strong. But the thing is, in 2020, he was running second and third behind Brad on the KTM.
He brought home.
So he was already good at this track on a KTM.
Yeah. I know that Martin's been injured and everything.
Yeah.
But Paul Espargaro brought home more points this weekend than Jorge Martin. Only by one.
It's a bit of a distorted thing. New track to some riders in this class, and Paul's ridden Brno before on a MotoGP bike.
Yeah.
Martin's just come back from injury. Yeah. Brad Binder has less excuses than Martin, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Alex Marquez and Mir crash. I think that is just Mir being unlucky, because Alex Marquez actually took the front anyway and just ended up collecting him. Mir, if you watch it back, actually Mir nearly saved it, but unfortunately he's not quite a Mark Marquez at saving crashes. Really annoying for Mir. I feel so really sorry for him, but it will change at one point because Honda's on the up.
Yeah, Honda is on the up.
I thought we'd see more from Zarco this weekend. But anyway, we're babbling on. We've got to wrap this up because we want to go for dinner. I will say, nearly, Barry Bottas won the race today. I thought he was going to do it. I thought Barry Bottas was going to win the Moto2 race today. Joe Roberts handled that beautifully.
And Barry said afterwards, he was like, I wanted to stick with Joe, but I
kept singing his praise at the pace.
He was like, I cannot keep up with Joe's pace. He's just, it was his race to win today. It was brilliant. Moto2 was really good. Obviously, Filip Salac being the Czech rider in there as well. So that was amazing. It was really, really good. And he was P6 for quite a while, made a couple of positions, and then dropped back to, I think, like P9 or something, which were P8, which was a shame, a big shame. But everyone was cheering him. He made it over the line. I thought if he doesn't finish the race, it'd be really, really sad that the Czech fans don't get to see him on his parade lap. But awesome.
Philip, honestly, he got such a following here, and the reception he got when he just went past on the outlap to the grid, stuff like that.
Stuff like just the TV focused on him for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? The whole hillside was like, it's hilarious. I loved it. On the British side of stuff this weekend, unfortunately for Jay Dixon, I mean, he's managed to scrape home a P11, but he was riding around like 17th, I think, at one point.
Early on.
Yeah, really early on. But he did a good job. And then looking to Moto3 just before we wrap up. And we're also going to just very briefly mention race 2 of Northern Talent Cup, because that was a fantastic race. But what on earth is Jose Antonio Rueda doing in Moto3? He's pulling away 4 or 5 seconds in the lead. This is David Alonso stuff. This is fantastic. Even David Alonso didn't do it the majority of the time. He usually muck about mid-pack and then just like now. But Jose Antonio Rueda got his way. Shout out to Dennis Fodger as well. He obviously got that podium last time out at Sachsenring.
Yeah.
And he's clearly found something because his form has improved. I mean, he was up battling with his teammate for the podium positions at one point. And unfortunately dropped back to P5. But yeah, great. Good to see Angel Piqueras back on the right side of where we expect him to be. And David Munoz, a podium from the back of the grid. Did we expect anything else from him? Because he is one of those riders where it doesn't matter where he qualifies, you know that if he doesn't crash, he's going to do well.
Probably pissed him off with more money than faster, to be fair.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So it was a very good Moto3 race. But the first national anthem that we heard today wasn't the Czech national anthem or the Spanish national anthem or anything. It was the German national anthem. Yeah. And because, as I said earlier on, probably about 40% of the people that go to that attended Brno are German. I mean, that's not official, by the way. That's just me speculating. The whole hillside stood up. Everyone took their caps off and celebrated the young lad who won. I mean, that was such an amazing race too. And we didn't see race 1 when we were leaving the track on Saturday when race 1 was happening. But it was really, really quality.
It was the hill was packed anyway, so everyone was forced to watch it. Didn't want to watch it, and why would not watch free motorcycle racing? It was brilliant. And
that's it. Yeah, that's it. Because I thought, we've still got an hour and 20 minutes before before it.
Yeah, but it was nice to see a local rider, a very young rider, obviously Northern Talent Cup, 2 classes effectively below the Moto3 class, if you want to put it like that, and some German riders in there. There's a British rider was in there as well. So we got a little treat there too. The kids, as people call it. But yeah, some are 17, some are 18, aren't they? Some are 16.
Dreadful. I should know this lad's name. I think it's Cratcherville. I think he's only 14.
To be fair, a lot of listeners probably don't know much about Northern. I bet even some of the top journos don't know a lot of Northern.
We should know more because it is really, really fantastic racing. It is annoying that it doesn't get covered on Dorna or TNT.
We could go on about that. Yeah, we know someone else who's annoyed about that as well.
Because it is fantastic racing. Yeah. It's just Moto3, but I mean these. Yeah, I think the lad who won today, I think it was Cratchville that won today. I think he's only 14 years old, so deaf like that. But what a race he won. Philip Soroviak, who's our British interest there, his first time out with Saxon Ring. He led several laps and then unfortunately crashed out. And then everyone was cheering on Roman Durdas, who was the top Czech, who brought it home. He led for a few laps, which was fantastic. Everyone on the hillside was cheering him on. In fact, what I noticed is people were cheering Roman Durdas on more. People were going crazier for the Northern Talent Cup race than they were for the Moto3 race.
Yeah, because they didn't. Well, no local involved.
Yeah,
which makes sense. To be fair, yeah.
But yeah, got overtaken obviously, and then fell back to like P5. And we thought, oh God, he's not going to get on the podium now.
Yeah.
And then last corner. And it was a photo finish between him and another rider. But yeah, Roman Durdas over the line, P2, awesome. Hillside erupted.
Yeah,
perfect.
It was great. I love that.
It was almost perfect. He could have won, and then we could have had the Czech national anthem for a win rather than just
before the race
celebrations. But yeah, awesome.
Which I've got a video of, by the way, with Hill recorded the locals singing the national anthem. So I'll put that on the Instagram story. All right,
lovely.
Brilliant.
Smashing. Right, well, that's everything from us from Brno, from the Automotive Drum. And it has been an amazing weekend. We've really, really enjoyed ourselves. I know we did a little bit of whinging and moaning, but, that's as I want. But yeah, amazing weekend. We had a great holiday. All of your uncle and your dad and our mate Gaz have really, really enjoyed themselves as well. And it's just nice to go on holiday and have something to do rather than just sitting around and getting drunk.
And sunbathing, but yeah, and the moaning, they changed it. They improved the rest of the weekend. The circuit, so fantastic.
What a way to run a circuit! Perfect. Right, so we're not going to any. We haven't got any. We haven't got any race weekends planned that we're attending anytime soon. But if we do,
summer break anyway.
Summer break, so we will be doing podcasts weekly as usual, and we will see you all again next week. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thanks, folks, and enjoy our videos we'll put over the next few days. All the best.
Ta-ra.